Hey gals, welcome to Binge Free Bestie, the podcast where we ditch the diets, break free from binge eating, and build a safe and empowered relationship with our bodies. I'm your host, Nick Carberia, a registered therapist who totally gets it. Binge eating and body image struggles? Yep, I've been there, done that, and I've got the therapy bills to prove it. But here's the good news, bestie. I've recovered and I'm here to help you to do the same. This potty is all about real, evidence-based strategies from my therapy practice, plus down-to-earth, relatable girl talk with me and some of my amazing besties and other experts who have their own stories, tips, and tricks to share with you. So, whether you're tired of the diet cycle, ready to ditch the shame spiral, or just want to feel more confident in your own skin, then you've come to the right place. It's time to get real about food freedom, body acceptance, self-care, and building a life you truly love. Let's get into it, besties.
Hey beautiful bestie, welcome back to the Binge Free Bestie Potty. I am your host Nick and I am a registered therapist and specialist in helping women reclaim their relationship with food, eating and their bodies. So today, this episode is all about busting the myth that's been holding you back for probably way too long. And that myth is that overcoming binge eating is all about willpower. Now, I know you know the drill. Sounds a little bit like this. It might be that if I only had more willpower, then I'd be able to control myself. And I'm guessing that sounds really familiar, and I bet you've heard that voice in your head for years. But the truth is that binge eating recovery actually has nothing to do with how much willpower you have, and it has everything to do with understanding your body, understanding your mind, and understanding your history with food. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Grab a cuppa or head out for some movement and pop your earphones in, and we're going to dive right on in and flip that script together. So let's get real. We know that diet culture loves to sell us the idea that if you're binge eating, then it's because you're weak or you're lazy or you just don't have enough willpower. I know you've heard this. I know you've heard it a million times. If you just try harder, then you would just stop eating. I know you know that, and it makes me cringe. I know this feeling too. That little word, just do this, just do that, and then you just stop eating. But we know that that is bullshit, right? Binge eating is not about willpower at all. Binge eating is a really complex biological, emotional response to restriction and stress and emotional dysregulation, and it's a response to shame. So when you tell yourself that a certain food is off limits, what you're doing is that you're actually making it way more appealing to your brain. It's actually called the forbidden fruit effect, and it is so powerful at influencing your behavior. It is more powerful than your willpower. So that means that you are not broken, and it means that your brain is not broken and that you are not a screw up. Your brain is wired to protect you. So when it senses that deprivation or that emotional chaos going on in your world, well then it makes you crave those forbidden or off-limit foods even more. So if you've been beating yourself up, and if you've been thinking that you're just not, strong enough to resist the ice cream or resist the bag of chips, then I want you to pause. Because this struggle that you're having with food and this struggle that you're having with your body is actually got nothing to do with you being strong enough or you having willpower or not. What it is about though, it is about healing from the actual root causes, so what's actually underneath the behavior. The eating and that feeling of loss of control around food is a behavior. It's a response. It is a symptom of another thing. It is not a symptom of your lack of willpower. So let's dive a little bit more into why willpower doesn't work. So you're starting to click, you're starting to get it, and I have spoken about this in other episodes too, but I really want to drill this into you. The whole idea around just having more willpower, that narrative is essentially just a big steaming pile of crap. Really? So let's just say why willpower is always going to leave you feeling like a failure. So number one is it's very finite. So willpower is not some magical, never-ending force. I want you to think about willpower a bit like, say, a phone battery, okay? A phone battery. So if you are constantly resisting every craving that you have and you are policing every bite and you're hating yourself for wanting that cookie, well, eventually you're going to hit 0%. Like the phone battery, you're going to hit 0% charge because nobody can live in that state of constant deprivation without crashing out. It's impossible. Eventually, you're going to drain right down to zero. And what happens when you get to zero? That is when the binge or emotional eating episode will show up for you. Number two of why willpower doesn't work in the long run. Willpower ignores what your body actually needs. So here's the real deal. Binge eating, it's not random. Binge eating is your body crying out at you for some nourishment. So when you're stuck in diet culture, which could look like skipping your meals, it could look like saving calories or ignoring your hunger cues, even thinking that hunger cues and being hungry is a good thing because if you're hungry, you're losing weight. I've heard that one before, in my own head, of course. Your brain does not care about your willpower, okay? Your brain does not care. It is going to go straight into survival mode because, and we've talked about this in prior episodes as well, and I encourage you to go back and binge this whole show. Your body is going to take over and it's going to cue that all-out eating frenzy. That is not your lack of willpower. That is your biology, your body doing exactly what it is meant to be doing, and that is keeping you alive. So willpower will never be stronger than your body's desire to live. The third reason why what's happening for you has absolutely nothing to do with your willpower or lack of it is that this kind of explanation for your struggle with food, it really misses the emotional piece, okay? And that is huge. So if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, then you will already be starting to understand that binge and emotional eating, it's not just about hunger. A huge piece and a huge trigger behind your binge eating is your feelings, trauma, stress, loneliness, boredom, heartbreak, all of these things. All of these emotional triggers are potent and they are powerful at driving you to eat. And so willpower alone cannot overcome that driver. It does not matter how hard you clench your jaw or how hard you clench your fist. If you are ignoring your emotions, then a binge will eventually find its way into your life. So real healing is going to mean dealing with the why behind your relationship with food and not just slapping a "you just need to try harder" label on top of that. So I hope that's really helpful. If you've been stuck in that cycle of beating yourself up because you feel like you don't have enough willpower, then this is the message I want you to hear today. I want you to know that it is not your fault and you don't need to actually be any stronger. What you do need to be is you need to be softer with yourself. And you need to start listening to what is underneath the binge. So all of that being said, if we're saying that willpower is not the answer to curing yourself or breaking up with binge eating, then actually what is the answer? I know you want to know that. And let me tell you, and I'm really sorry. I'm real sorry to say this, but it is actually not a magic bullet. And there's also not a secret health hack or mindset hack. Like there actually is no hack. Sorry. I wish there was a hack. Oh my God. I wish I could invent some sort of thing that just rewires your brain or a pill that you can take that just reduces that food noise. That being said, Evan, I mean, there are things like weight loss injections, aren't they? And we know that, people are reporting that when they use things like injectables, the food noise reduces, but it's still not curing the root issue. You inject yourself, the food noise decreases, but it's not providing you with any tools or strategies or the ability to regulate your emotions. You're not healing from your trauma. You're not learning how to eat in alignment with your hunger and fullness cues. So it's really just a temporary kind of band-aid or a sticky plaster that you're putting over the real wound here. So, sorry, no magic bullet, no secret health hack. The things that are there are probably just temporary or only get you half the way there. What you need to do is you've got to get back to the basics, and you've got to learn how to work with your body and with your mind and not against them. So here's things that will actually start to shift your relationship with food and eating. The first thing is nourishment. So I need you to start feeding your body. Okay, start feeding your body. We got to be real, because when we're skipping meals or we're ignoring hunger, again, listen back to old podcast episodes. When you skip meals and you physically restrict, that is a one-way ticket to a binge. So your body is not going to be messing around with you when it's hungry. It wants to survive. It's going to make sure that you eat something, and it does not care if that means eating half a loaf of bread at midnight or all of the rest of the mashed potatoes, So how do we break the cycle? You break the cycle by eating enough and by eating regularly. So I'm saying, and literature is saying, and anybody who is an expert in this field will say, 3 meals plus snacks, okay? 3 meals and 2 to 3 snacks. That is actually how much an adult needs to function and to be well. So that means no more saving calories, and that means no more punishing your body with over-exercising. Your body really, truly deserves to be nourished. So please start doing that. The next kind of cure or thing that does actually help outside of willpower is giving yourself some permission. So saying yes to all foods. And next week's episode, I'm going to be talking about this concept of unconditional permission to eat, because I know that concept really freaks people out. So I will make a whole episode on that next week. But essentially, diet culture really, really wants you to believe that if you let yourself have foods that you crave, desire, cravings and desire are so demonized. Diet culture wants you to believe that if you go for these foods, then you'll never stop eating them. But actually, the opposite of that is true, because when we give ourselves unconditional permission to eat all foods, and that includes the ones that you've demonized as naughty or bad or junk, what you're doing is you're taking the power away from them. So taking them down from the pedestal, and suddenly that forbidden fruit effect is going to diminish and eventually vanish, because you're no longer rebelling and sneaking snacks, because you can choose to eat these foods to honor your hunger and your cravings. And next week I'll explain more about kind of the why it won't be a slippery slope to just having cake for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's not going to happen, I promise. And I want to add one more thing here. Another reason why willpower is not the cure, it's because emotional regulation is. So I want you to feel and not to numb. When you do the breakup, which is my signature program, you're going to learn that binge eating is not just about food. A huge thing behind it and underneath it is feelings and trauma and emotional dysregulation. So that is why the final piece of the puzzle is going to be learning how to be with your emotions and accept them and nurture them instead of numbing them out with food. So you'll learn how to notice when you're feeling lonely or stressed or overwhelmed, And I'm going to give you some tools, some alternative tools to learn how to serve yourself that doesn't involve food. And this is where the practice of self-compassion is going to come into. And as well as that, having really clear, firm, kind boundaries. All of these tools, the self-compassion, the emotional regulation, the boundaries, the self-care, they are part of your binge-free toolkit. And that is what I give you in the breakup. Because it's not just about healing your relationship with food and what you're eating and how you're eating. It's all about healing your relationship with yourself. So a big truth is there is absolutely no perfect way to go around this. There's lots of different things that you can try, lots of different tools that you can put together to work towards a binge-free life. And that's great. There's heaps of binge coaches out here in the world and therapists who are supporting women all around the world. So take some time to research and see who feels good for you, who is in alignment with your values and ways of doing life, and then go for it. I just want you to make progress. I want you to be curious, and I want you to show up for yourself. And just know that it's okay if it's a little bit messy, and it's okay if it's slow, as long as you are showing up for you. Food freedom is so worth it, and I'm saying that from lived experience. It's such a relief to be here. It's so nice. It's so nice to not have that constant self-criticism and fear and just be out here living my life and not be obsessing about food. It's just, I think relief is the biggest word to say for me. It was just such a relief. So that's what I want for you too. Okay, so that's kind of the takeaway of today's episode. So if you're feeling really stuck in that cycle of binge eating, please stop bullying yourself for feeling like you have no willpower. You are not failing. You are only human, and you are just responding to some real needs and some real pressures. So please nourish yourself regularly. Start working on ditching those diet rules and be gentle with yourself. And remember, every time that you choose to listen to your body instead of diet culture, then you are building trust with yourself and you are moving into that binge-free life. So that's a wrap. That's a wrap for today's episode, Bestie. If this chat struck a chord, please share it. Please go ahead and share it with someone who you feel might need to hear it too, or come on over and say hi to me in the Binge Free Bestie community on Insta or TikTok. I really, really love hearing from you guys. I love hearing from people totally out of the blue saying, hey, I just found your podcast. I found this helpful, or I'm trying this strategy, or can you explain this a little more? I'm totally down to do that. And if you are feeling that pull to take things even deeper, if you're ready to turn everything that you're learning here with me on the podcast into some real sustainable change, then I really want to invite you to check out my signature online program, The Breakup. It is my baby. I put so much love into this. It is your safe, structured space to start to untangle all of those food and body struggles for good. And of course, I offer one-on-one therapy packages, but I only offer that to breakup current students or graduates. And trust me, the transformation that comes from having someone in your corner who is looking out for you, who is checking in on you, it is absolutely next level. So if you want to work with me one-on-one, the only way to do that is to first enroll in the breakup, start building that psychoeducational foundation for yourself, and then connect with me and we can go a lot deeper into your personal story. And I'd be so excited to get to know you and to walk alongside you. So details are in the show notes. Have a peek if you're curious. And remember, you don't have to do this alone anymore. Healing is a journey, and I want to walk it beside you. And when you come and join the Binge Free Bestie community, there are women from all over the world with us who are also walking this path, and they're excited to meet you too. So until next time, keep showing up for yourself with tenderness and fierce self-love. You are onto something. You can do this, and I will be here cheering you on every single step of the way. So have a fab day. I will catch you next week. Ciao.